kind of freeze frame into this moment, how would you introduce the Gems as a band, like just in the start of the Year of the Snake cycle?
Well, we last year we actually when we were at the festival Rock Hearts, we did an interview, and Emily coined the frame that we are heavy glam rock. So I think that pretty much sums it up. Like it's a mix. It's heavy, classic rock, if sometimes even heavy metal, but it's very packaged in a glamorous way. And musically, it's classic rock, but it's also packaged in a modern way, like the way that we produce the album and the way that like the vocals are very in the front and stuff like that, which are very like pop or more, mainstream music, I guess, because yeah, we like mixing it up, and we really hope to be able to reach a broader audience with our kind of music. We think more people could enjoy it. Because sometimes when you say, rock music, people that don't understand, they just automatically think you're growling or like it's so much heavier than it is. But yeah.
Phoenix came out in 2024, of course, and it
Yeah,
was,
on
you
my
know, out
birthday.
nice, and it was kind of about starting over. If you
hmm
look back at that album now, what are your thoughts?
my thoughts on Phoenix is that it was very healing for us. It was something that we had to get off our chests to be able to fully move on from what had happened to us and that whole situation that we were in for so many years and all that stuff. So it was really, I think healing, like just as a creative person, you need to get those things out. That's like almost like going to a psychiatrist, you know what I mean? Like you need to get out the anger, the sadness, the anxiety, all that stuff is on Phoenix. Very present since it's like an emotional roller coaster. I feel very proud of it about like over that like that album I'm very proud of, and I feel like it's a great journey. And I also think that as a especially as a female musician, like female group, uh, to not be afraid of showcasing all the feelings. I saw this interview with Alanis Morissette about like "You Ought to Know," very angry song, and how she loves that. And I feel the same way. It's like sometimes you're angry and you need to be okay with showcasing those feelings, and then sometimes you're happy, but you can't be everything all the time. So it's a very human album. And I think a lot of people have been able to relate to it because you might have not gone through exactly what we've been through, but you've definitely gone through something that, has made you disappointed in people and in the world and blah, blah, blah.
In your point of view, what has changed in the music when we come to Year of the Snake?
Musically, I guess we're evolving more towards like an 80s sound wise. Um, we still have our roots in like 70s 80s rock, but I feel like it's more heavy 80s because it's more like well produced, more slick. It's almost like we've taken inspiration from like like bands. Like I'm not saying like our songs sound like that, but you know what I mean. Like yeah, it's way more 80s and even a bit of 90s thrown in there as well. um And initially, most of the songs, or not most, but when we started working on Year of the Snake, um, we really had our first thought was actually, what do we need live? Because we have one album out, we have a certain amount of songs, we are a live band. We want all our music to be able to be played live, and to even like almost be better live than on the record. You know what I mean? So. We just thought like, what are we missing sound wise? What do we need? Like we need more upbeat songs, we need this kind of vibe. We or maybe not need, but what do we want? Because it makes for a more fun set for us, and I really like more party songs, faster songs. So we created that, and then the themes of the songs are a lot about I guess we're reminiscing a lot about our past and then moving forward, kind of, like the year of the snake, like you're changing skin and um, yeah, you go through a lot of things, like both on a personal level, but also maybe realizing things, and you're getting wiser with age and all that stuff. So this album is more like that. Does that make sense?
What's kind of the timeline of the
Yeah.
new music? Like, what time was this music worked on?
We started writing, I think we've been writing since, because honestly, I was hoping that we were gonna have this record out this year. Um, we, I mean, as soon as Phoenix came out, we basically started writing material for it. And I mean, if you think about it, it's not that long, but as soon as Phoenix was out, we started writing new material. So the spring of 2024.
How is the writing process for you three at the moment?
On this album, we didn't work with as many different songwriters. It's mostly us three and then our producer Johan, which is that's kind of new because on the other record we had songs that were from like the past, like it was a mixture of things. Whereas now it's a true 100% collaboration. Like all the songs are everyone is involved in every song. The only difference is that on some songs, I would say half the songs, we have our producer, who is an amazing songwriter, write with us. So I think that's kind of cool.
If we could go through maybe a couple of the songs, of course, Hot
Yeah.
Bait is the new single. So, well, how did that idea start? Was it the inside joke, bad date, or tour catering, something like that?
It's actually, I mean, we reminisce on all our years as a touring musician. And in the early days, I mean, the song is about a one night stand, obviously, or maybe it's not obvious to everyone, but it's about one night stands. And we thought it would be a fun theme because it's something that we joked about a lot. Because back in the day when we were still in Thunder Mother and we were touring a lot and we were all single, um, as a single musician, it's not as easy as you would think. Like when I started Thunder Mother, I thought it was going to be like the dirt and it's going to be groupies and like. But as like for girls, it's nothing. Like you're a nun, and you have to, especially if you're like me or I'm a little shy and I don't really like hit on people. Like well, I'm shy when it comes to those things. I get really awkward. I'm such a nerd, but uh, it gets pretty lonely, because you think you're going to be on the road and meeting all these people, and you never have time for anything. So like we had the joke between us about like, oh, the stars aligned tonight because we just finally scored one time, so I mean that's the inspiration for Hot Bait.
You already talked a bit about the title track, Year of the Snake, but maybe you could tell a bit more like what kind of role it plays on the album story.
I mean, it's a lot of like I'm kind of spirit. I mean, not kind of. I'm very spiritual, so it's a lot like a few of those like things. Like one of the things that I've learned or I've had to, I've learned and I've it's a way how I've dealt with a lot of things that came at me or whatever, is the fact that things don't happen to you; they happen for you, and that's something that we have in the song. And I think that's good for people. It's a good way to see or handle life, you know what I mean? When a lot of shit keeps happening, that you don't start seeing yourself as a victim. You kind of just see it as, okay, that was a great learning experience. Okay, I'm evolving from this. Yeah, it hurt like my God, but it's something that I can learn from. So that's really truly how I try to handle life. So that's like the song is about all these things like I guess acceptance and moving on and changing, and then we package it in a way where we would hope that all the rockers would enjoy like a party song, And I think we really managed to do like a very classic rock vibe. But if you actually listen to the lyrics, there's some new agey kind of stuff in there.
Maybe you would want to like pick a third song.
There's a lot of good, like a lot of songs that I really like, but I can tell you about Happy Water because that's a song that's like it's one of my favorites. I know it's not the girls' favorite, so it's that's like a not everyone loves it as much as I do, but I know for a fact that it's gonna be the single just before we release the album. And that's also a party song, and I had to kind of fight for the title because Happy Water sounds stupid. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I was in Vietnam when the year started. Last Christmas, I was in Vietnam. I was there for like 7 weeks, and it was an amazing trip. And during that trip, actually on my birthday as well, we were on this like excursion, whatever, where they showed us a lot of things on this island. And one of the things that they showed us was this thing that they called Happy Water. And it's basically the Vietnamese version of moonshine. And they had like a cobra inside this like I mean, it tasted horrible. It was like straight up alcohol, but it was such a cool thing. And I was like, noted, I'm writing that down. So happy water. And also with the theme of Year of the Snake with the cobra in the thing, I then I brought the idea to the girls and we wrote the song, and then our producer was kind of like, but what is this? Like he's very pop, like nothing too crazy. And then I had to like really fight for the title and the meaning of the thing because I'm kind of like I think I'm sick of just redoing the same thing, like we there's certain words you can use and you can keep using them, like I mean, how many songs gonna be about rock and roll, or the same title like a Rolling Stone or whatever, like that's very obvious, but you know what I mean, like it's very, is it a lack of vocabulary or is it a lack of creativity? It's like, do we have to do the same thing over and over again? So that's something I'm actually very proud of this album, that we introduce things that are at least words and sayings that are not very common within, I guess, the rock community. And Happy Water is one of them. And I think that once people hear it and understand it, they're gonna actually find it really fun, Because sometimes the silly things actually work really well. So I'm hoping and, hoping people are gonna like it as much as I do. Um, but actually on the theme of that, like, the song Go Along to Get Along. That's a saying that I heard in a documentary about women in hip hop. So when I hear interesting things, I always write it down and then we make a list and then we take from that list and then we write together. So yeah, I'm always listening for more like interesting sayings and new approaches to things because I'm really bored of the same old shit. Yeah.
You of course mentioned that the music was written with live gigs in mind,
hmm
but what would you say inspired you when we talk about the music itself when you were making this album?
I mean, Van Halen is always part of the DNA. Like the girls really, really love Van Halen. I do too, but I mean, vocally, it's not a lot of like, you know what I mean? Like I'm still doing my thing, but Van Halen is always present. I feel like Queen is always present. Led Zeppelin, we want to have, but it's because it's something that we all enjoy and love. But I think there's just tiny bits of that on this album. Um, and Kiss, of course. Um, but like truly, like I feel like also like Accept and all, like a little like that kind of more heavy metal vibe has been introduced to this album, like with Year of the Snake and even I guess Happy Wonder you could, I don't know, but yeah, it's like it's a little mix of a few of those classic bands, um, and Spice Girls. Did you notice the little? Have you listened to the album?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay.
I
Did
think
you
I missed
notice the
this.
little steps in Cloud Chaser?
Okay, now I have to listen to it again.
Ah, it's very subtle. It's just because it's a similar chord progression, or maybe even the same. Um, and it starts with a ha 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 ha.
Ah, okay, yeah, yeah,
And
okay.
that's it. That's it. That's how I feel. For me, that song is. I always think about the Black Crows when I sing that song. But I think that's because the phrasing, my vocal phrasing, I feel is similar to the singer in that band, but in that song particularly. But yeah, while we talk, more bands might come to mind. But yeah, I think I mentioned the key players, which is like Van Halen, the key player.
Is there like one or maybe multiple like production choices that kind of were important for you on this album?
We did exactly like we did on the last album, so we didn't change anything really. Or the only big difference on this album was that we all did recording on our own. Like we all went into the studio with the producer on our own. So that was that was a new thing and practical, but not to. I wouldn't recommend it. I feel like next time we do an album, it's better if we do it together because then everyone can have input straight away and we can do. It's more like an organic vibe, but it's good to try different things because this time around we just didn't have the time. And also the fact that Mona and Emily shared the bass playing. So Mona plays most of the bass, but Emily plays on three songs, the last three songs that we recorded, which is kind of fun. And that was also a time thing. And yeah, I'm very privileged to have two amazing musicians that can play basically everything. So they just did it like that, and that was different. And then the drums, um, most of the drums were recorded in Boho Studio in Gothenburg, and then we had to last minute add three songs. So those three songs, the drums, everything was recorded in Skara, where we recorded Phoenix. So that was, I guess, yeah, that's a different production thing that we were ready with the album in July or June. We were ready with the master of the album, and then they told us at Napalm that that we had to add more music because they're very picky with the 45 minutes. So yeah, it's right over 45 minutes now.
You know, Thunder Mother has been mentioned now a couple of times. So, how do you see like the band growing from the first album to the second, and beyond, of course, that?
To be honest, like I only mentioned because it's part of my past, but I feel like creatively we're just doing our own thing. And well, yes, we started that creative journey in Thunder Mother, being that we co-wrote Heatwave and Black and Gold, but we just kept going with our, our what's the word I'm looking for? We've just kept going on our own path. Like we've never really looked back and like, like we don't compare ourselves. We don't look at them. We don't try to be like them. We don't do anything like we do our utmost to differentiate ourselves from them because we really don't want to have anything to do with the band ever. Like we really don't want to. We want to be the gems, and then Thunder Mother can be Thunder Mother, and that's enough for us. But I guess we still are avoiding AC/DC, I guess, because we're kind of, you know, we got really satisfied with just writing songs inspired by AC/DC, like to put it gently. We're like, ugh, you know what I mean? Like we throw in AC/DC, like we play Highway to Hell live sometimes just because the audience go fucking nuts for it, but creatively, I think we want to do so much more with our music than just I don't know. Love AC/DC, but you know what I mean? Like when you were forced to do that for many years, you're kind of like, I'm done.
Now you mentioned that you want to do so much more. So looking a bit ahead, how do you
Mhm.
see the maybe a band doesn't need the 5 year plan, but like how do you see the future of the Gems after the album release and maybe even the third album?
Yeah, I mean, we do kind of have a 5 year plan-ish, like, because we do have our own company. I don't know, like an LLC, I think it's called in English, an AB, but aktiebolag. But so we do really take it serious, and I think the goal for us, like I've always said, like, oh, world domination, blah, blah, blah. And yes, that would be amazing. I wouldn't say no to that, but we've all, I think when we spoke last about this, about our joint goals and ambitions, it's more or less to get to a point where you can live off of music 100%. And if we could be at a level where we are selling out venues between 6 to 1,000 people, like big, but like even 600, 700 crowd venues, that would be such a good um, level, and that's kind of our dream right now, to be a well-established band with a solid fan base, and that we can live off of the music. And then I still have dreams of, like, I've been always saying, like, oh, I want to headline Rock in Rio or whatever, but I'm good with just playing Rock in Rio. So I guess a more humble approach to the same dreams. And if we do get to that extreme big level, like Ghost or Sabaton or those bands, then thank you, universe. But we would be very, very happy if we could just live off our music and do some touring every year and play the fun festivals. And yeah, I mean, everyone is like, the girls are having families and stuff like that. So you need to really like plan and prioritize differently. And then the financial aspect of this job it's very important too, because you need to be able to, you're not just taking care of yourself anymore.
Come on, give me